patience. We are now live. We're not going to be up there. That's where I was going to have. That's where Patrick. In case you're wondering why I'm not up there.
Is this, I'm just curious, is this what we call it in all the other buildings? I just never referred to it as that.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a fine word for it. It's a fine word for
I
it.
think so. I'm just curious if we actually use it.
It's like mothballs.
Yeah, there you go, learning new things every day.
That one real time because it was a few minutes today. It says excellent connection.
So is Patrick the only one on Zoom, or do we have one about Georgina too?
Oh,
She does library.
yeah, that's right. I'm surprised she's not here, but we can check to see if she is. Not yet, but there's still, I think, technically a few minutes. More coming.
Is Georgina coming in person or is she going to join us?
She didn't say. I know that Patrick is joining us.
Just in time.
Patrick's joining us remotely. And Laura's coming. Oh, Marina's coming. Hello, Laura.
Hi there, sorry.
You're the first one.
And here I thought it was really late. That's not a mouse.
Did you get Sean's message?
Sean's message?
He said he texted you about a student that was near the top.
Nope. Nope, I got no message from him.
Just, that's what he sent you.
Nope.
Okay.
I don't think he has my cell phone number.
Maybe I assumed.
And so if we don't have if I don't have them on the agenda, we can't have them here. So I can do it for a future meeting.
How are you, honey?
I'm good, how are you?
Good.
Okay.
But I have no email from him either. And he didn't say anything to me Monday night.
When she comes in, she can ask if she
You're
can
welcome to
sign up
take
for
a seat.
speaking.
And we don't have that as an option.
Correct. I'm reading what I was
Yep.
told to have her do. But that's not what she can
We,
do.
no, because we don't have that as an option. So it would have to, I would have had to have had it before to have it as a, we don't generally have public comment
I think so.
on the subcommittee level.
Right.
But I would have her, I would go through Michelle too, because we don't normally, the subcommittees don't necessarily do any of that unless it's tasked from the full committee.
Okay.
So I'm not sure what the topic is.
It's related to a policy.
Is it a policy we're talking about tonight?
It's a policy that doesn't exist, as far as we can tell.
So I think we need to go through the full committee before it comes to the subcommittee.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
So she needs to speak at she needs to do public comment because part of the issue was the anxiety related to the large number.
No, and that's okay. What I would recommend,
Are you listening?
reach out to our chair of the school committee. And then what we'll do is she can bring up the topic at the full committee, we can have the discussion about having it at a subcommittee level. At which point I would rather follow the protocol, making sure you're more than welcome to stay. We don't have on our agenda to have any public comments or open discussion. Because the agenda has to list out what we're talking about, so anybody who wants to participate knows what we're talking about. We want to give people ample amount of notice. I'm more than happy to put it on the next agenda and have you come back and you can participate with us if you'd like.
Okay.
I just don't think today is a good idea for that.
Okay.
And I'm sorry, I don't want you to feel like I'm pushing you off or anything like that. We can easily set up a meeting for like 2 weeks from today,
Okay.
as long as it meets everybody's schedule.
Yeah.
Does that seem fair?
Yes.
Yep. Does that feel better
Is
than
that-
having to give a public comment?
And I'm all for making it so that there's no anxiety about having to talk in front of a whole large group of people, but I also want you to feel heard. So I just want to make sure we go through the right channels to do that.
Okay.
Is that okay? I want to make sure you're both all set with that.
Yeah. I am just here.
I appreciate your help to advocate.
Next to her. That's it.
Support.
Yeah, that's it.
But I'm happy to talk to you after our meeting if you want to stay. And then I can have that conversation with Michelle.
Yeah, I'll still be in the building.
Okay. I mean, it's really up to you, but I'd like to make sure that our chair knows that someone's reaching out for something
Yeah.
from the school committee, because most communications should kind of really come through that person.
Okay.
Okay.
What time do you anticipate being?
I'm hoping that this isn't going to go long, it's like 30 minutes, maybe 45 at the max.
Okay.
I'm hoping. I try to keep these
Yeah,
quick and easy.
I think that's a very
the goal.
realistic goal.
I just have some handouts.
Yeah.
Give you one, two, Dave.
Oh.
I just brought a copy of the latest policy newsletter.
We'll be back in 45.
Okay. And if we're still going, we'll be done shortly thereafter.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
It's more so just because one of the topics, so do we have, is Patrick on?
Oh, sorry.
Yes, okay. I don't know, Cheryl didn't tell me she wasn't coming. Sorry.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Welcome to policy. Can you hear me, Patrick?
Can you hear us okay?
You have to unclick that little thing right there.
Can you hear us okay, Patrick?
I can, perfect, thank you.
Okay, so Cheryl's not here yet, but the time is 4:31, so I'm gonna call the meeting to order. And I just wanna make it known that, so Patrick is remote.
Hey, Maura, from an open meeting law standpoint, you just need to call out that we're still operating under the emergency open meeting law provision, because if this was not during that time period, we could not start because you have to have a quorum present in the room, but you don't have.
Okay,
So that's the reason why we're able to start now, is because we still have the COVID emergency rules in place.
so do I have to repeat what you just said, or is you saying it out loud enough? So we're gonna,
Cheryl's,
we'll just wait 1 minute and then Cheryl will be here. And then I wanted to say that, but due to the guidance for the open meeting law, we are allowing for a participant to be remote. In just a few minutes, Cheryl Caruana will join us and we'll have a quorum in person. She just has to open the left door.
did you get it?
She's. I love it. So Patrick, just so you know, one of the handouts I have, and I'll bring to you tomorrow if you're at the meeting, is just the latest MASC policy newsletter dated September of 2022.
Sounds riveting. I look forward to it.
Hi Cheryl. No, it's okay. Give you a minute to settle in.
Oh, do you have a handout for her?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, so Cheryl is now joined. We have a quorum in person and Patrick remote. We do have the meeting being recorded, so by David from the town of Wilbraham. So we're going to stand and do pledge allegiance. And if you'd like to lead us, Erin?
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we'll jump right into the rivetingness of policy, starting with student photographs. So I don't recall there being any concern or major changes in our policy for the photographs, but I want to make sure that none of the other subcommittee members have any issue.
No, I think it was pretty straightforward.
Good with me.
Okay, so I don't recall that there were major changes to that one. I think that was something more that we asked for, just to double check. So I don't know that we have to do a vote or bring it to the full committee.
We added, no, we do, we added the word aforementioned.
Okay, wait a minute, I gotta find them. Yep, no, I pull out my notes from the last one. Oh, and we were gonna add the cross-reference to the IJNDD.
It's on there.
Okay.
That's there too.
So the only thing, I'm okay with bringing it to tomorrow's meeting. The only thing I don't want to get in the habit of is when we have a meeting the day before. So it's really kind of in fairness to the full committee that anything be presented by like Monday or Tuesday within 48 hours of the meeting so people can review it. I realize that it was added to the folder, but it's kind of the cart before the horse if we put all that stuff in there in advance.
Okay.
I realize that we also only have meetings like every other week, so then the readings gets tougher. But I just want to be mindful of when we have our meetings till we have the school committees, because especially with all the other meetings we have. So I'm okay with, if everybody else in the subcommittee is okay with bringing that forward to the full committee tomorrow to have the first reading. I just don't want to make that a habit of doing it the night before.
Okay.
Okay.
Are you looking for a motion on that?
I don't think I need to take a motion on that because we can't make a vote other than, all those in favor of bringing that forward to the full committee?
Aye.
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 And because I'm participating remotely, we need to do it in roll call.
Okay. Roll call vote. Cheryl Caruana.
Aye.
Patrick Kiernan.
Aye.
Laura Ryan. Aye. 3-0 passes.
It's like pulling teeth.
You gotta get you quicker on that unmute button.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we'll move on to the library resources policy.
On this one, we did receive communication from Patrick with a suggested modification. I have it in front of me. Those of you who have the policy in front of you, it is the very last line on the first page. And Patrick is suggesting some more expansive language such as reasons for withdrawing may include but not be limited to the following, instead of what's currently on the page. Do I have that right, Patrick?
Do you have that so we can put that shit on the screen?
That's correct. So if you look at it right now, it
It should be shared.
doesn't, one could interpret that very directly that those are the only reasons why. And I don't think you want to paint us into a corner on that. I would give greater flexibility by adding that language.
And along those lines, maybe we should get rid of the among the, because that is also kind of suggestive that it could be more than that. Maybe just begin with reasons for withdrawing an item may include but are not limited to the following. Does that sound right?
Sounds great to me. That captures the intent of what I was sharing.
So this is
I like that recommendation.
I'd like to see us be able to do this as a working move then. If you're gonna make modifications, then maybe if we're gonna have the remote meeting, then the policy should be out for anybody who's remote to be able to see them. And we should be making those changes at the same time. Because you right now are the only one who you're making changes that you're asking for, but I'm not sure where you're at with that.
Okay. Are you able to put it on the screen?
Because I know we've asked about this before. It's only fair for
Just-
anybody being remote to be able to
You
follow
want
along.
you want the policy and then the other, or do you want the policy up there first?
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know
Yeah.
what he sent you guys as changes, because I didn't see
Okay.
that.
All right, so we're gonna do the policy.
You're privy to something that,
Can you just go over to your drive?
I am, but I have two computers and one drive. I just don't want everybody to see the
Oh,
the
sure.
Confident. Right now,
Sure.
my thing has
Yep.
stuff on there that I
Yep,
don't.
no, I understand.
I'm paranoid that it's gonna be up on the screen,
yeah,
but
well, that's okay.
yes, I can. I can do that, I think, on that one. I just want to take a second before I.
So in the future, maybe it makes sense to have a folder where, remember when we were talking about having a laptop that was school committees? Then that way, if
Then I don't
whoever
have to
the chair
worry.
is would have whatever needed, so we could share it. We just have to
We
figure
have
out
it
how to
here.
do that. We
Right,
just have to get it all
We just have to get it
aligned.
all aligned, okay. We do have that, though, you're right.
Because we need to make sure we're sharing and we're being transparent about what's being discussed, and if people are remote, they don't see, they see what we're talking about, but they need to see what we're actually talking about.
Um,
So can you refresh me on where you were with that, the change that we were just talking about?
It's right on this bottom page here. Oh, wait a minute, yeah, the one that he was just talking about. First, the library, instead of starting with among the reasons for withdrawing, may include, but not limited to, the following, and then it lists the following.
Does that include, it includes his change and the request you just made about possibly taking the among out?
Yeah, my change is sort of stimulated by his change.
Yep, no, that's okay, I just wanna make sure that it's the same area.
Yep.
Because the only other add I think we need is to put the instructional materials on there.
Are you talking about these large blank spaces?
No, I don't know what
I
those blank
didn't-
spaces are.
All right, so you want me to change it more while we're here?
I think it would make sense then that way, because even if you just put it in red, so whenever you'll have to change the folder,
Okay.
but then you'll know what the modifications are, what's in red. So you could just put I can help you format that after, but I think we should make a reference to our own policy and it specifically says, in accordance with the district's policy for providing instructional materials, I think we should just have a cross-reference on the back to, I have a policy about it with me. Sorry. IJ, which is instructional materials.
So, but
For that whole paragraph?
Nope, it goes at the very end. So so with normally with the policy, you have a cross-reference.
right.
And so this is generally one of the ones that goes with public complaints.
Okay,
So there's a
proper-
new,
prop-
so we would just put, and we put it at the very end. I don't know that there has to be a legal reference, because I don't know that the MASC had added one.
So what's the cross-reference policy?
It's IJ. Sorry, I just had it.
NDB.
M as in Mary or N as in?
N as in Nancy?
No, it's just IJ,
Just I.
instructional materials. No, it's okay, the policy we're talking about is the one that you were talking about.
Okay.
IJLA is the library resources one. Because the one that you had as the MASC policy doesn't match the one that's actually on our online manual, which is from 2018, which is what I was looking at earlier today and last night.
Are you referencing this particular piece
For, I'm sorry, for what?
the change to,
No, I just want to add a cross-reference at the bottom.
right at the bottom? Thank you.
Because if it calls out that we have a policy, it calls out in accordance with the district's policy, then I just want to make sure we do a cross-reference to what the district's policy for instructional materials is.
Got it.
Does that make sense, Patrick?
Yes, it does.
Do you follow along, Cheryl? Do you have any
Yeah.
questions?
No.
You sure?
Yeah, I just was looking for where you wanted it.
So like in a normal policy,
Yeah.
there's just a cross-reference at the bottom. Okay. Any other changes or suggested changes? I don't think we have to have Katie look at these, but I think that's just the wording is minor enough that it's not a legal recourse. So I'm okay if, I guess we'll have to do a roll call vote to move it to the full committee as it's.
Motion to move to the full committee.
Second.
Second.
All right, roll call vote. Patrick,
Aye.
Cheryl,
Aye.
Mara, aye. 3-0, motion carries. So I think that.
Maura,
answers-
I do have a question on something that's in that is not related to the policy, but it's more of a procedure standpoint. So part of the statement, or part of the policy reads something along the lines of, will not release basically what's been taken out unless there's a warrant or a subpoena. It's I forget the exact wording, and I don't have it right in front of me.
Yep,
So do we provide notification to any person that may check books out that that information is releasable to law enforcement with appropriate warrants, subpoenas, et cetera, as a disclaimer?
I don't know, but I guess maybe we should see if there's. I mean, I would think that even if someone submitted a Freedom of Information Act to see what books get sent out, I don't know that they can give out someone's personal information. But I guess.
No, that's not what I'm saying. It's specifically around the portion that can be released to law enforcement with the appropriate actions taken by law enforcement. So my question is, do we cover ourselves before somebody uses our libraries and we make that known that that is a fact?
I don't know. I don't think we have the policy that, I don't recall seeing a policy that says that.
And I don't know that it needs to be a policy per se, as much as it may be, right, if you think about the acceptable use, and that's probably the poor one to use since it is a policy, but people just have that as a disclaimer before they start using or taking books out of our libraries, so that there is no question that that could occur.
Have you ever heard of anything like that, John?
The only thoughts going through my mind as I consider this question are that really what this is saying is that the circulation record is treated essentially as a student record. Our rules around student records are the same, essentially, that they won't be disclosed unless we're compelled to disclose them by some kind of a court order or subpoena. So I wonder if something in our communications about student records might just say, the circulation records are treated as student records or something like that.
Okay.
Okay.
So how would it be different than the disclosure of information circulation records shall not be made available to anyone except pursuant to such process order or subpoena by authorized by law?
I don't think Patrick is requesting a change to that. I think he's just
He's
asking,
asking if we,
how do
what do
we-
we do to cover
Right.
ourselves?
Right.
So do we put a disclaimer outside the library, just something that communicated to families? I mean, I guess to some degree, I guess it could be added to the a comment could be, a disclaimer could be added to the student handbook that says, you know, circulation records could be, you know, but to your point about student records, I mean,
or we could put some kind of a sign at the circulation desk or something like that.
yeah, I'll have to look into it. And see, I mean, I'm happy to, the one time I need Georgina to be here.
She's on here.
Are we able to?
She said that, do you wanna hear what Georgina said?
Yes.
She said, the answer is very interesting. The public library might be different than schools. We are under school information. If law enforcement can check student records, then the answer would be yes.
Okay, so I would think that the student records would then cover that requirement. I mean, I can't imagine that law enforcement are asking what books kids are taking out, you know, but I mean, I can understand why they may ask that question.
Right.
Do you want me to do anything else with this, Patrick?
I think it was more a recommendation that if we can somehow notify so folks are aware, that way we've got ourselves covered on multiple fronts.
What do you think that notification looks like?
I don't know if it's something within somebody signs as part of the student record or student handbook, if it's just in there, I would publicize that fact so folks are aware that that can be released with the proper court documents.
Okay, so I think we'll maybe have to look at the student handbook.
We'll probably check our student records policy also maybe.
Or the form, of
Yeah.
like when a student gets signed up. Okay. I can definitely look into that and with, John, and we can try to bring something back. And then if it deems we should put some sort of disclaimer at the circulation desk or outside of the library, I can see where the thought may be that it's more for a public, but in the same right, the school falls under that too? Okay. I will take that as an action item.
Georgina agrees, John, that it would fall under the student privacy. Add the library to student records policy.
Take a look at that. Okay. Any other questions about IJLA or the modifications? Okay, so we can bring that one forward tomorrow, if that's okay with you folks. And then the only thing I would ask, John, that you take from that is the notification, like our last meeting, we talked about, a procedural, like I'm gonna let that be your thing, but just, we may wanna add, if there's an issue with that, that should be something else that gets added to the student handbook. I mean, I realize we're just adding probably another quarter to a page of just a little bit of writing, but that and putting it on the website so people know about it, I guess. So the next topic is the MASC policy newsletter. So the last newsletter they sent out was in 2022, where they offered up a lot of changes on category D, which is a lot of the budget stuff. And I had talked with Aaron about a lot of that last year, where they were starting to do some of the D items. So I may, if it's okay with you, John, send him the policies and see if there's any that he would like to be reviewed. And if, I'll check to see, I'll take the policies we have in our manual now and compare them if there's any modifications that he deems any issues with.
Makes sense to me.
But I know that part of, the only other policy that wasn't one of those is public gifts to schools, which is KCD. I'd like to add that because it's part of the newsletter update. I think we need to look at that, because I think tomorrow's meeting has something on there where we're talking about gifts. And I just wanna make sure that our policy aligns with, what we're gonna talk about tomorrow. So we may have to have a future meeting just to discuss the policy, but I couldn't find where we had that as a policy. Online. I'm gonna look for it
Let me
online.
grab the book.
I was gonna look. Oh, it was in my pocket. In the big book. Can you access the MASC
Yeah.
policy? Yep. Go to online manuals.
Sorry.
That's okay. I'm happy to
This is
drag.
Aaron's computers, I don't use.
No, that's okay. So then go all the way down to HWRC Hamden Wilbraham.
You want me to look up K, KCD?
Yep.
ACD should be there, it's in the book. That matches.
I'm gonna share it with,
They're trying to put years.
No, well, they don't really do a good job of reading their own.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
share it on
Handouts.
my Zoom.
You wanna click on, no, go back to where you just were. You can click on that. No, you wanna go to the next one, browse by CCS.
There.
Because they still haven't updated the procurement one yet. I keep checking on that one for Aaron. I told him I would. And so I brought the last, just a copy of the last bulletin that we received from MASC, just to, so in case he hadn't seen it, to know that they hadn't changed it. But so I don't know that we want to talk about KCD now, or try to, or if we need to adjust it based off of what we as a regional school want, because of what.
I don't know what you did, I can no longer hear any background noise.
Unmute.
Oh, no, it's not even, because no longer selected. Did the owl shut off?
Doesn't look it, it's still lit.
Can you click on got it there, in that box, to make it go away?
Okay, so my
Now,
microphone is
can you-
disabled, so I'm gonna, stop the share.
Here you go, now.
Is
you
that
can
better?
hear. Okay, so it's because you're sharing.
Is that better?
Perfect, thank you.
Sorry.
Okay. So I guess we just need to verify their policy versus our policy, because they did make an update.
Okay.
So I guess we can add that as a future agenda item,
Mhm.
but I just wanted to make mention, and then I know that, there was an ask to have the graduation requirements put on.
Mhm.
I don't know, do you have an immediate need for that policy?
Well, one of the things that we're tasked with doing in the strategic plan is increasing vocational options for students.
Okay.
Right now, the graduation requirements are creating a barrier for our students because other students in the collaborative are joining in ninth grade. Steve talked about this a little bit at the November meeting. Because of the way our graduation requirements are worded, our students don't join until the 10th grade.
Okay.
So it puts students in a holding pattern for a year and also potentially causes them to lose the opportunity to be in some shops.
Okay.
So you'll see in the program of studies when it comes forward, Steve is recommending new language around accepting experiences at the collaborative for credit towards the Minnetonka High School diploma. And we'd like the policy to reflect that as well.
Okay. So yeah, I can, if it's okay, we'll try to do that sooner rather than later. Do you know when he plans to bring the program of studies forward to the school committee?
It's going to the curriculum subcommittee, I think, next week.
Next
Yeah.
Wednesday,
So
Wednesday.
it could be as early as the 2nd February meeting.
That's what we're thinking.
Okay. So with that in mind, so we can potentially have that conversation about the requirements that they meet, I think it makes sense to try to have that reading and if it's okay with you, to try to get the policy approval started at that point at least. when we do the, program of studies review with the full committee, to kind of get them both, so can you guys take a look at your calendar to see what you have available between now and, the second meeting in February? So we can just try to, it'll probably be a,
Which is basically next week,
Yeah.
or early the following week.
well, if we can try not to have a finance
Sure.
meeting. I don't wanna have this, 3 meetings a week is kinda a lot.
Mhm. Yes, it is.
So yeah, it would have to be the 15th, right?
Well, I mean, unless we could potentially not do a finance meeting on, or we could probably do it before the finance meeting and make it, just limit it to that one topic.
Mhm.
On the 13th?
Yes, Patrick, are you available on a Monday night?
Yes, it's better than the 15th, because I have some things on the 15th.
Patrick, are you available on February 13th? 4:30?
Well,
Sorry. 4 or 4:30?
I think your connection might be a little shaky, you're
I'm wondering if I should call.
He's
breaking
off.
up.
He's off.
All
This
right,
thing is.
so
Please hold while I try to connect you.
I'll just call him for that.
no, I'm still on, I'm looking at my calendar.
Oh, I don't know, you disappeared, I thought you were gone, I'm sorry.
No, I'm
Sorry
looking at
about
my
that.
calendar.
I love Wednesdays. I mean, if you're able to, attend remote,
Yeah, no, I should be able to attend in person, I can move some stuff around. So you're
Okay.
saying 4 o'clock, but we need to be done by 5, is that what you're saying?
yes.
Okay, yes, I can do that.
So the next meeting, will be, does that work for you, John and Erin?
Does work, yes.
Okay, and Mary?
Yes, I have a boring life.
Uh,
So the next meeting will be February 13th at 4:00 PM here at the district office. I don't anticipate it would take long, but we're just, for purposes of that meeting, I know we could probably put the KCD on there, and then if we can send just the policy out in the folder.
In the policy subcommittee.
Yes, just so that they see both policies.
Yes.
as they
I see,
are.
Yes.
And then if we have time to talk about KCD, that's great. If not, I mean, that's not pressing.
So Maura, I just have a question on that. So for a student that is seeking, let's use a rising freshman that is seeking vocational options today as an 8th grader, will the date at which we approve the new policy hinder their ability to apply? Or no, it's really a graduation requirement and it will do nothing to hinder their application to one of the vocational programs through LPVC?
I think that's
Yeah.
more steer for you.
Yeah, it won't impact their ability. We are really trying to make the current eighth graders aware of this intended change of the district so that they can get moving on their applications now. And the other thing, if there is any concern about that, the committee could always vote to waive its rules on the readings to get it done faster. It's a very small change that we'd be looking for in policy, but it has a big impact on
Yep.
kids.
Well, we can also hold a meeting remote if we needed to, for just that topic. So if we needed to
Yeah,
call together a special school committee meeting, we have the ability to do that,
right.
just to try to get the readings, I mean,
Policy meeting or school committee?
the school committee have to do the readings. But I don't know that it's an urgent enough request where it would warrant doing 2 readings versus the 3. That's usually if it's something that's an emergency. I mean, if you deem it to be an emergency, then we most certainly can do that.
I think it might be just good to try to get a sense of the committee at the first reading if anyone has concerns,
Yep.
because then that could potentially impact kids, but
Yep.
if people feel okay with the change, then I don't think we should expedite it.
Okay. Are you aware of the student question that was brought up before this meeting?
No.
Okay. So there is a chance that there may be one other topic that may be added. I don't know what that is, but I will find that out. And it will be potentially added to the next agenda. Or we'll have it brought to the full committee for discussion. Any other questions, Patrick, or anything else you want to see us discuss?
Good to go, thanks.
Okay. Cheryl, anything?
I'm good.
You sure? Any
Um,
questions?
no.
Okay. Anybody, you all set? Are there any other policies that we should bring to the full committee to review that we should be bringing back to sub?
I'll just put on attendance policy as something we might want to take a look at. We had a situation come up with kindergartners, and kindergarten is not a required grade. And so we may want some nuance around the policy, because it would be strange to send some of the notifications we're required to send to students who are in grades they're not required to attend.
Okay, yeah, okay, that would make sense.
Right.
With the attendance policy, and during that discussion, I'd like to also just understand when the buses are late, do students, I don't need the answer, I'm just saying, I think we should just make sure that should we have any language in there for that to cover at the other grade levels when it's something that's not in the student's control, but I don't want, I know that there's been some chatter about parents being concerned about their child being marked tardy, and I don't know how you guys do that, that's really yours, but I just wanna make sure that our policy reflects whatever you guys are doing to make sure we're covered as a district for the future. So, can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we'll do roll call vote. Cheryl?
Aye.
Patrick?
Aye.
Mara, aye. It's 5:05 and we are adjourned. Thank you.
Have a good night, everybody.
Have a great night.